Everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Get Seen, Be Heard. I am Christina Daves with PR for Anyone, and my co-host is Karen Yankovich, Uplevel Media. We come to you every week, 2:30 Eastern Time, to try to help you combine PR and social media so that you can get seen and be heard much faster and much louder. And we bring on great guests every week, and this week we are super lucky because we've got rock star John Lee Dumas with us. So we are going to get him in a minute, but Karen, welcome.
Hey, Christina, how are you? This has been such a crazy week. I'm so happy to be here and doing this, and this is starting to become like my touchstone of the week.
I know, I love it. Yeah. I love it. Karen's all tan. She's been working in Florida for the last 2 weeks. So those of us in the cold aren't so lucky.
I'm now in New Jersey, though, and it snowed, so my sunshine and warm days are over for a little while anyway.
Yeah, well, that's all right. So, should we share our fun, exciting news?
Yeah, I think, it's your fun, exciting news. I'm just kind of tagging along for the ride.
Well, you can tell it. We just lost John.
Yeah,
we lost his picture. So Karen is on her way to DC tonight to join me. And tomorrow I have the distinct honor of interviewing Hoda Kotb for an hour on stage. And I'm super excited. And Karen's going to come to help us get seen, be heard, tell the world about it, share everything on social media. And so we walk the walk and talk the talk. We're doing what we tell you guys to do.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, this is Christina's thing. She's worked so hard to, we got to let you back in.
Yeah, I got it.
She's worked so hard to pull this event together. She's interviewing, did you say who you were interviewing yet? Yeah. She's interviewing Hoda Kotb, and they're both Rockstar Virginia Tech superstar graduates. So I'm just going along to help out with the social media, and from Christina's standpoint, I'm on team PR for Anyone and making sure that everything gets pushed out. And it's funny, I'm actually putting together like a blog post for Monday about this. For me, I'm just going, number one, because I love Christina, and number two, because it's such a fun thing, and somehow I will use this. Pictures of Hoda and I together hopefully will help my brand, right? So it's all about positioning yourself in a way that positions you as influential, and all of that helps bring your brand to a more profitable place, I think, and I've seen that happen. So I'm really excited for this, Christina. You are if you guys could see the stuff that went on behind the scenes for this, crazy.
Yeah, I haven't done event planning since I was in my 20s when I used to have a company, and it was like, oh, here we go. I didn't think I'd be putting the whole thing on, but it worked out great. It's going to be a great event. But Karen, it's interesting. We'll bring John on in a minute, but that's how John and I met. He was this rock star podcaster, and I asked if I could interview him. I was getting started, and I had interviewed some great people, and I just knew that he had such a great message. And our interview went so well, and he said, hey, how about I interview you for my podcast, which happens to be the #1 podcast. But and John, it did, I mean, amazing for my followers and my business, and we keep losing them. But how many people said, hey, I heard this interview with you. Will you come do this with me? Will you do this? So there's definitely something to be said for positioning yourself with the right people.
I think so. And I don't know why we keep losing you, John. We're going to leave the seat open,
I know Black's still in beta, love them to death, but they got some kinks to work out. Every time I type, the whole screen goes black.
I've learned, I can't have anything else open. I have to, it's like you have to walk on eggshells a little bit, but it's such a great platform. And John, we've never met, so I'm so excited to meet you today. Of course, I did some homework before this, and I see that you interviewed one of my friends, Nikki Elledge-Brown, recently. So that's great. Exciting. She's awesome, the mom of a new baby now. And I actually think that, I think I was her first paid client. I think like a few years ago, Nikki came on a group that we're both in, and she's just like, and I suck at copy. It's just not my thing. And she came on and she's like, I'm offering these free calls. And I was halfway through the free call, and I'm like, where do I send you money? Like, where do I send you money? So, so I love Nikki.
Yeah, she's great.
Awesome.
All right. So John, why don't you tell everybody, obviously I know all about you, but tell us all about you. You just have such an amazing, super fast rise to stardom, which I love, which makes people realize anyone can do it. But yeah, tell everyone about yourself.
Well, I do like the Mark Twain quote. I didn't have time to write you a short letter, so I wrote you a long one, essentially meaning be concise, because it's difficult to be concise. So I'll be as concise as possible here. But I grew up in the state of Maine, went to college on an Army ROTC scholarship. So I spent 8 years as an officer in the U.S. Army. Did a 13-month tour of duty in Iraq, which was pretty intense for a 24-year-old in charge of 4 tanks, 16 men in Fallujah. And after the Army, I tried a bunch of different careers for the course of 6 years. So a decent amount of time. I tried law school. I quit after 1 semester, corporate finance, commercial real estate. 6 years of struggling and failing and not being inspired by what I was doing and finding any passion. Fortunately, at 32 years old, which was about 4 years ago now, I had my aha moment for Entrepreneur on Fire, and I launched a 7-day-a-week podcast interviewing today's most inspiring and successful entrepreneurs.
Oh, no. Oh no.
Come back. Hold on. Just taking a breath.
But I keep coming back.
Okay, keep going.
Coming back. And I've interviewed over 1,200 now inspiring and successful entrepreneurs over the last 4 years. Christina being one of those, as I said, right as I was getting booted. And it's just been a great journey. We now consistently get over 1.2 million listens per month. We've really been able to get a wide audience as well, as far as 145 countries listen to EO Fire on a daily basis, which to me is just an amazing statistic of what the world is that we live in today. And our business is quite viable. We publish our income reports because we love transparency. So we're generating significant revenue, 7 figures a year. And growing. So it's been fun running a business from my living room. As you can see behind me, I'll do a little, there's my kitchen, there's my couch, and there's little, Diego right there, my little stuffed animal who likes to hang out and just kind of watch me do nothing. So it's been a fun journey, and I'm excited to chat today.
Awesome.
I have to ask you something, because I've always wondered this, because we did our interview and then you started putting your, how much you guys make every month on your website. Do you ever worry about the IRS with that?
You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about the IRS if you pay your taxes, Christina. Let me just tell you that. So I have an amazing CPA. His name's Josh Bowerly, and he, has had so much success working with us. He actually rebranded with my blessing to a CPA on Fire. So you can find him at CPAonfire.com. You can email him, josh@cpaonfire.com. And he's actually part of our monthly income reports for a couple reasons. Number one, because obviously he's the guy that's making sure that I pay all the taxes that I should be paying. And number two, I wanted to bring that full transparency in the most honest ways possible. I want people to know that, hey, I'm having a CPA verify this income because, you can put anything you want to on the internet. And I just want people to know that, hey, this is just the kind of person that I am. I'm a military guy. I believe in, just integrity and responsibility, and I want to do everything in the right way possible.
But it's really good that you say that, because there are a lot of people out there who aren't like that. And they say they're making, it makes me crazy when you see in these groups that you're in, oh, I've never done anything. I did my first launch and I did 6 figures. No, you didn't. There's a lot of people out there. You didn't. And you've done this. I've known you for several years now. We work our butts off. Work hard for your success, but it doesn't just happen. And there are people who say, oh, just sign up with me and, in a month, you'll make 6 figures every month.
But what you're doing though too, and I it's one thing to make the money, it's how much you're actually keeping, so by producing income reports that, that's showing what's coming in. And I don't know, to me, people that are making $200,000 a year, listen, that's fabulous, but you're not sharing that you've got 2 full-time employees, and that maybe you personally might be making more money if you worked at McDonald's, so I like the transparency. I really do. I think that's
I think you nailed it, Karen, in a couple areas. Like for number one, so again, we publish our income reports every month. And we do an end of year report as well. And, we did $4.5 million in gross and $2.6 million in net revenue. So we show our net revenue too, after all of our expenses. So after our employees, after everything. So we're showing you that you can run a business. It's myself, my girlfriend, Kate, and then we have 5 full-time virtual assistants, 4 in the Philippines, 1 in Pakistan, who we pay an incredibly competitive wage for where they're living, and they're thrilled. And we've never had a virtual assistant leave our team because they just are in a phenomenal situation that they love. But it's a way that we can have amazing help for very reasonable costs and a very reasonable expense on our side. So I love this world that we live in. And to kind of your point, Karen, like I like to look at like the Inc. 500 or whatever it's called, like the Inc. 50 or 500. And you'll see like $11 million in revenue with 213 of gross revenue with 213 employees. I'm like, they're not making any money.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to pay these people. You got offices. You got this. So how are these really successful companies? So we have this like warped sense of, this person in the Inc. 500, they must be rolling in it. They're probably not making any money at all, which is okay because sometimes you just got to do that and get through the traces. Right. But we can't just, we really have to look into the full picture before we really start, putting laurels on. And I don't know, Christina, it might be on your end because I see that you're not using earbuds, but I think there's a little bit of echo because of that. If you can find some, that might help.
Yeah. You know what? I do have.
You know what, John, I agree with you. It's not that listen, we all have periods of time where the net income is low. My word for 2016 is net income, man. I mean, I'm right up there with spending too much money, right? But so I get that. It's not a judgment. What makes me nuts though is if you're going to share that you're making $200,000 or $1 million or $50 million, that doesn't really tell me anything. You know what I mean? Like, and to me that, I work really hard with entrepreneurs to help them become successful, and I want to use things that are going to boost them up, right? I mean, by all means, brag. I love when you're bragging if it's authentic bragging, but
it's easy math, Karen, but still a lot of people don't do it. It's like, would you rather make $100,000 in the course of 1 year and have $95,000, in expenses, or would you rather make $50,000 and have $15,000 in expenses? And the reality is we got to think about net profit. And Christina, by the way, that made all the difference in the world. So never make that mistake again. A little pro tip for anybody that's watching now. What happens is audio comes out of your speakers and gets picked up by your microphone. No, it gets picked up by your own microphone. So it comes out of your speakers into your microphone and has that little echo, that little delay. So it sounds amazing.
I normally do it. I haven't probably slept in a week getting ready for tomorrow. So I'm in the whole, well, I've got my spray tan and I got my hair done and my nails done. This is a once in a lifetime. You got to look great, right?
Well, we just live in San Diego where there's always sun.
I know.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, show us out your window. Look at that in the water.
That's amazing. I just left that, John. I was just in Florida for 2 weeks and oh my gosh, it's so beautiful to look out your window. This morning I looked out my window to snow, which was also pretty, but
we all make choices, Karen.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Absolutely. But you know what, to just kind of wrap up that last conversation, I recently left like a year or two ago a 6-figure job. And I tell people all the time, like everybody thinks 6 figures is the and maybe it is a benchmark as an entrepreneur, but in order for me to be equal with my street value, I've got to double that. I've got to be making 200,000 in my business if I'm going to be making 6 figures, so there's a lot of people that are like, what's going on? I'm making $88,000 this year. I made $10,000 this month and I've got $12 in my bank account. So it's really just talking about 6 figures is a little bit icky to me, because I don't think that that's something there's so many people that are doing that and are frustrated because they don't have any money.
That's why I wanted to paint the full picture. Because hey, there's been times when I've made $150,000 in a month, but had $90,000 in expenses. And so it looks great to show 100, but I've actually only put $45,000 in my pocket, and that's a ton of money, by the way. But also, I talk about how 23 of that 1,000 is earmarked for the government. So now what looks like 150 is actually like $25,000 in my pocket. So it's really hard as entrepreneurs to put away meaningful dollars into your into your bank account afterwards. So those that do, you're really doing a good job, and you really need to be thinking about that in many ways. And I just want to we got a lot of people talking in the chat, guys, and PCAs tell me that I'm cute, which I obviously appreciate, even though it looks like by the avatar, it looks like a dude, but I'm so cool with that, of course.
I figured that was a buddy of yours.
No. Well, it could be. I have a lot of buddies. And then we have someone saying I could use a good referral for a good VA right now. I love the company Virtual Staff Finder with Chris Ducker. So if you just go to virtualstafffinder.com, great virtual assistants there. It's awesome. Jory saying net income, yay. And then, of course, I got my main man, Josh Elledge, saying, hey, JLD, good to see you after the Podcast of Paradise cruise. Proud to support Freedom Journal. Can't wait to get mine. And hey, buddy, if you up to the 4-pack today, because we're having a special, go ahead, go back to the freedomjournal.com, up to the 4-pack. I'll mail you a Freedom Journal today. Boom.
Wait, John, you got to go back. Tell everybody what you're doing, because I do know, and I have it up. I haven't bought mine yet, but it is being done after my thing tomorrow. But it's so awesome. So tell everybody.
Visual first. Voila. Gold leaf, gold embossed. So, there's a lot that goes into doing a 7-day-a-week podcast. And one of the benefits is interviewing 1,200 entrepreneurs in the last 3.5 years. So I've learned a lot. But I get a question, ladies, all the time. And that is my listeners, Fire Nation, say, John, what is their secret for success? Like, what makes, the Christina Daves of the world, successful? And I always respond with, it's hard work, which is true. But I wanted to give them something more tangible to really grasp onto. And so I decided to think about it a little bit more, and I did. And I came up to the realization that successful entrepreneurs know how to set and accomplish goals, while unsuccessful entrepreneurs struggle with that very thing. So this was a year ago, January 2015. I decided to create my first physical product, which is the Freedom Journal. I just showed it to people that were watching on video. It is a beautiful leather-bound, faux leather, because I am an animal lover, gold embossed journal that is your guide to set and accomplish your number one goal in 100 days, period. We have a killer Kickstarter campaign happening right now through February 5th. We're already at over 4,000 backers and over $250,000 raised, which is, again, ladies, another reason why I love the Kickstarter platform, because everything is so visual. Like, I could tell you that I had $4,000 and $250,000 raised, or you can just go see it for yourself, because it's a very transparent visual platform. So I love it. I love that as well, that part of it, because that resonates with what I look to do with my business and with my tribe. So the Freedom Journal is just a passion project of mine. Everybody has that one big domino that they have to knock over in life if they want to have that chain reaction of awesome. For me, that was EO Fire and starting my daily podcast. And that started that chain reaction for everything. And it never would have happened if I hadn't just focused on that one goal. So the Freedom Journal just allows you to focus on that one goal and make sure that you accomplish it in those 100 days, which is tough to do, but a lot easier with a guide and with an accountability partner that's not going to let you fail.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I love it. Yep. And I am definitely
I would put the link in the chat, but I know if I do, my screen will go black. So
tell me what it is. Or actually, I have it up on my computer.
Yes, maybe something. I'm always worried about typing in there too, John, because I have the same issue. So
there you go. That's the one, Christina.
Well, we're sure to lose you, Karen, here at some point before the end. We always do. It's usually at the end, so then I just
ask you a question. You want a PC or a Mac or a Mac?
Mac.
Yeah, I'm on a PC, and I blame the PC, but you're on a Mac, and I'm seeing things happening. So
I did have a lot of tabs open when we first joined, so that I've since closed them.
Okay.
But and also I was trying to like click and like tweet this and like type in the chat, and it should work, but it doesn't. But hey, Blabs and Beta, we love them.
Right. That's what we said before you got on. We say this every week. It's not their fault. They grew so fast. They were trying to keep it small, and it exploded. So they've been great. They've been helpful getting us when we've had problems.
So, John, our goal with this show is to kind of help people understand how they can position themselves as influential and how important that is to their business. And it's not really about needing to be a big deal. It's about reaching people in a way that they have confidence in what you say, because you've let them know why you're qualified to talk about these things. in some ways. So tell us, like, in the beginning of Entrepreneur on Fire, when you decided you were going to have this 7-day-a-week podcast, how, did you think about those kinds of things? Like, what do you think kind of tipped the scales in your favor with your podcast success?
So one thing that I know for sure is that the way that you can build an audience that knows, likes, and trusts you is to deliver free, valuable, and consistent content. So it has to be free at first, because why should anybody listen to you in this noise that's out there? Or I should rephrase that. Why should anybody pay to listen to you when there's all this noise out there? And when you haven't proven yourself yet, they shouldn't and they won't. So it has to be free. Now, it also has to be valuable. Now, that's a lot easier said than done. And that's why I started an interview show, because to be honest with you, back in 2012, I had no value to give. I was an inexperienced, brand new entrepreneur who was getting into this world for the very first time. But I knew that I could bring guests on that had a ton of value to share. So you don't personally have to have the value when you start, but you have to have a medium that will allow you to bring value to your listeners, to your viewers, to your readers, whatever that might be. So for me, that medium was podcasting, and that was bringing guests on. Now I could start another podcast where it's just me, because I have value to share now, but I didn't before. So I used that medium. And then consistent. I love that you ladies do this, every single week. And I think that's, very commendable. And that's one thing that a lot of people fail at. They don't find that consistency, or they start consistent and then they trail off. It has to be consistent, and it doesn't have to be daily or weekly. It just has to be consistent. Whatever that consistent timeline is for you, get out there, vocalize it and verbalize it to your audience, and then stick to it, because they're going to trust you and they're going to be coming here for next week's blab. And if you're not here, then they're probably not coming for next week's, even if the following weeks, even if you are there. So be consistent. So free, valuable, and consistent content, grow that audience. And then once you do, you can ask them the most important question. What are you, my audience, what are you struggling with? And they'll tell you their pain points, their obstacles, their challenges. And then you, the person that they know, like, and trust, that's delivering them free, valuable, consistent content, you can create the solution in the form of a product, a service, a community. For me, that was listening, and my audience told me they wanted a mastermind. So I launched Fire Nation Elite. And for 2.5 years, that was a 5-figure a month revenue generator. We actually closed it down on December 31st because, it had run its course and we were focusing on other things in our business, but it was an amazing 2.5 years. My audience told me they wanted to learn how to create, grow, and monetize their own podcast. So we launched Podcasters Paradise, which has become the #1 premier podcasting community in the world. Over 2,800 members, over $3.5 million in revenue generated since we launched. It's been a massive success. Same thing with Webinar on Fire. We teach people how to create and present webinars that convert, because my audience told me they wanted to learn that. And now with the launch of the Freedom Journal, that's what my audience was sharing with me. They're struggling setting and accomplishing goals. So I created a physical tool to allow them to do just that.
I love that.
Which I love. And I want to piggyback just for a second on something you started out with. You said when you first started out, you started your podcast to bring people on so you could kind of build your credibility because you really hadn't done anything. Well, there's also on the other end, for example, with the PR for Anyone, I actually did this stuff and I was having a lot of success, but I wasn't anybody. So what I did is I went out and said, hey, if I can interview top producers and people on television and radio, and they're saying the same stuff I'm saying, that gives my message the credibility. And that really helped with what I was doing.
Yep. I love that. I love that. I actually stupid little story, but it reminded me of this what you just said reminded me of it. I had the people in my town had maybe fortune, maybe misfortune of me being involved in a Little League auxiliary when my kids were in baseball, and they were running the snack stand like a mess. And I'm like, listen to me, if I show up with $5 to feed my kids dinner and you're not open, I'm not going to show up next week with my $5. So you need to be open every time somebody. So I wrote a blog post one time, and that was one of the things, like, what did running the Little League snack stand teach me about my business? And I was like, if they come here and you're not there, they're not going to bring their money next time. So you've got to be consistent and you've got to be available, and people have to know when they can count on you, so that you're busy, and you have to be there for them when they do. So I think that's such a great message. I think it's such a great message.
Thanks.
And Karen, you're making me laugh because we were at the hockey rink the other night, and all I wanted was a Diet Coke, and the stupid snack bar wasn't open. I'm like, it's 4:30. You're supposed to be open.
Hey, let's make a New Year's resolution: no soda for 2016.
I'm in for that. I'm in for that. I don't know. You can get Christina to do that, though.
I figure, no way. I've done it too long.
Christina, whatever you're doing is working. Now. So,
oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. I do have my water here
lemon
today,
in there
though.
too. Nice. I have my water, no lemon in it, but I put apple cider vinegar drops in there, which is also.
Oh, that's great. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I'm lucky I have any more. I mean, I literally flew in last night, and as soon as we're done here, I'm throwing my suitcase in the car and driving to Virginia to hang out with Christina at the thing. So I'm lucky I have, have water here to be here.
You're so all right. So John, I want to go back because I know like and I remember following you when you first started, like, for example, your webinar program. You ran that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but was it once a month live for how long? The same webinar, building your list, building your following. I just thought I learned a lot from you watching you do that. So in
early 2014, it was actually January, Kate and I made the commitment that said, hey, every single week we are going to have a podcast workshop where I just teach people how to create, grow, and monetize their podcast every single week. And of course, it's going to be value packed, and then we're going to drive people towards Podcasters Paradise at the end of that. And we also made the commitment that every other week, so twice a month, we were going to have a webinar workshop where I teach people how to create and present webinars that convert, driving people into Webinar on Fire. So that was our year of webinars, and we just absolutely let it be known that we were going to do that, and then we stuck to it, and we ended up doing over 50 webinars on podcasting and over 25 webinars on webinars. So that was something that we stated for 2014. 2015, we actually continued with live webinars every other week. We moved it back one, but we were vocal about it. We said, hey, this is what it's going to be now. And we've stuck to that as well. So I think you really need to get out there, be vocal, like say like what your schedule is going to be, put that goal out there for yourself, but also let it be vocal and known. And so you can really stick to it. And I do want to make sure that we give Desiree a shout out. She's waiting for my little puppy, Viego, to move. And unfortunately, Viego will never move. He's just a cuddly little stuffed animal.
I have a question. So, John, when you said you did a podcast every week, was it the same? Not a podcast, a webinar every week. Was it the same webinar? I mean, obviously, it's always got a different flavor depending on the room, right? But did you try to change it? Or was it literally like, I'm just making this available once a week? And
it was 95% the same webinar.
Wow.
I really never really changed according to the room because, I focus on the presenting the webinar when I'm presenting the webinar. I give a nice little 15-minute conversation pre-webinar to anybody in the chat room. And then I answer everybody's questions that they have throughout the webinar at the end as well. So those times are always different, but the core hour of presentation is almost identical to the day that we started, making little tweaks here and there. But my goal of that webinar is to be presenting it to a new audience every single week. And of course,
I love that.
A return audience, if any of them want to come back and maybe, watch it a second time to maybe see if they missed something.
Oh,
come back. I love that. I mean, I love that because I love, but nothing has grown my business faster than all the free stuff that I do. So I love that model. I'm thinking about how I can incorporate something like that.
Yeah, consistency is everything.
Now, John, did you sell on that webinar? It was strictly
every
free
single
content.
webinar I sold on. And I'm a big believer, number one, 45 minutes of pure value. Like people need to know that they're going to get pure free value on that webinar. And they can walk away from that, even if they decide not to transition into Podcasters Paradise or Webinar on Fire or whatever your product, service, or community is. They can walk away being like, wow, that was a worthwhile 45 minutes to an hour, period. And I don't, and I don't make any excuses for selling at the end. I say, hey guys, we just had 45 minutes of great value.
You like this?
I want to tell you about the #1 podcasting community in the world right now. I'm going to tell you what it's all about. I'm going to take you behind the scenes. I'm going to offer you a special deal if you want to get in live on the webinar. And we do all of those things. And then I answer all the questions and we have a blast.
That's great. And I tell you, doing it every week. So, and we talk about Periscope a lot. I love Blab because I'm with Karen. I don't like Periscope. I don't like to just sit there and talk into my phone. I do the same thing with webinars, though. I don't like to do a webinar just me. I'd much rather, be with somebody else, do a JV, do something like that, so you have that interaction. But if I stuck to your model and I did it every single week, because my webinar is fabulous, I'd probably get more comfortable with it. And I should that's what I'm putting in my Freedom Journal, I think.
There you go. And you should, because honestly, now you're going to have people that say, wow, I just went to a great webinar with Christina. People be like, oh, like, where do I sign up? And they just be like, with confidence, well, hey, I know she's having one next week. And so, like, I was having so many people just say, hey, John's doing a live podcast workshop every single week. And so then that just viral, we were getting hundreds of people on.
That alone is a great tool. Is a great tool because you will get that buzz. I love it. Yeah.
All right, should we bring someone on? 3 o'clock?
Sure.
All right, get ready. Hello, George.
George of the jungle.
Hey, George.
Yes, John. How are you doing?
Hello.
George, I'm doing wonderful. John, I want to commend you on your sunglasses, my friends.
Yes.
Thank you very much. John, you are a professional broadcaster, I see.
Yes, I try.
Yes.
You try? You are. I mean, I see the microphone. It's huge.
Actually, this one's even bigger. I don't know if you can. Actually, I can show you. This is actually what I use for my actual podcast episodes. So it's even bigger. I got to make up for things, George.
Millions of downloads?
What's that?
You have millions of downloads.
We generate 1.2 million listens per month.
That is good. This is amazing technology. Where are you broadcasting from?
San Diego, California, where it's always sunny.
Nice. Look at that. You have a view of the ocean and you just wake up in the morning and just stream? That's what you do?
If I never leave this bubble right here, I'm a happy person.
Yeah. And when do you produce the show? Do you produce it in the afternoon or in the morning?
Every Tuesday, I do 8 back-to-back interviews. So those are my entire interviews for the week. So I do 8 back-to-back interviews starting at 9 a.m. on the hour for every hour for 8 straight hours. And by the end of that day, I have 8 completed interviews, which are scheduled to go out later that week.
I see. So you're more like Jimmy Fallon. Wow. You just work very organized and you...
George, I think that's a really good analogy.
I think so, too. I
too. You better write that down, John. I think that's a testimonial right there.
Right.
Hi, Christina and Karen.
Hi, George.
Very nice seeing you girls.
Hi,
do you have a podcast, George? Or tell us about you?
I'm just looking for comedians. I want to have a podcast to own a show, a Hollywood show. I'm in Los Angeles, and I work in construction right now. I'm brand new here in Los Angeles. I'm a union delegate, but I think television business is more interesting. And I see, what's the point to be in Los Angeles if you're not in the entertainment business?
That's a good point. Point taken.
And I think you girls are very interesting to chat with.
Well,
how'd you hear about them? Ladies always ask, how'd you hear about these ladies?
On your show.
Oh.
Is this, whose show is this? How can I tell?
So this is Christina and I have, the problem with Blab is when we have co-hosts, we have to alternate who schedules the show. So you can go to either Christina's profile or my profile, but the show is Get Seen, Be Heard. We also have GetSeenBeHeardTV.com, which looks terrible right now, but
it's getting
available. And the episodes will start to be on there, and the schedule is there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we also do these monthly lunch and learn workshops. From all the stuff we talk about here, Karen did an amazing one on Twitter. The people after the first 5 minutes into it were saying, "Oh my gosh, this is worth every penny." Then I did one on Harrow, and then our next one next week I think is on LinkedIn. So we do these every month to just kind of really dive deep on the stuff we talked about here on the show.
So you girls, what do? You're involved into advertising. You do PR and trying to get some advertising going, paid advertising.
No, not paid. My whole goal is to help business owners get free publicity, to learn how to generate buzz for their business without having to pay a publicist and without having to pay for advertising.
Yeah, that's good. But how do you make money?
Well, people pay me to learn how to do that.
So you sell a service like
that. So I have digital products where you can learn yourself. I spent all day yesterday with 30 CEOs I do a lot of corporate training. I'm with a national organization and they fly me all over the country to train CEOs how to get creative and think outside of the box and make their business newsworthy. And then I'll go in and I'll train their marketing departments on how to implement the CEO's ideas.
Wow, this is good. So, John, I'm going to watch your show because now I know you. I'm going to actually take a screenshot right now of this, if you guys don't mind.
No, of course. John's show is Entrepreneur on Fire.
Okay, let me get one when I say cheese. Everybody says cheese, cheese. That was great. Okay. So I'm gonna put this on my Instagram.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That'd be great. All right, listen, George. I want to go back to John. I have another. There's a question here for you, John. It says,
"Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here.
That was lovely to talk to you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, George.
There's a question here that says, "What is the average attendance in your webinars?" And that's a really good question. I actually have that same question.
Yeah, so I'd say it's between 150 and 250 live attendees, and typically between 600 to 800 with the 48-hour replay that we do.
Oh, wow. Wow. Do they have to?
Oh, so you do a 48-hour. Okay, that's good. I'm taking my notes here.
Right. If anybody else wants to jump in, come on in. So you do. So they have to register for it. So you have 600 to 800 people register each week. And then you have
let's get Desiree in here. She's talking a lot and she's from San Diego.
Yeah, come on, Desiree, jump in.
I know, Desiree.
So you typically are going to get about a 30% show up rate. So if I get 600 or 800 people to sign up, I'll get about 150 to 250 people show up, and then I'll what's going on, Desiree? And then I'll typically have between 600 to 800 people watch the replay afterwards. So that's not specifically to how many people sign up because we put it out on YouTube and our other channels as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's it. But cool. Desiree, you in San Diego right now?
I'm not. I'm actually from there. Now I'm living in Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Oh, that's fun.
Where in San Diego are you from?
I usually don't tell people because I'm from East County.
Okay, I would keep that quiet as well. But,
I saw his face. I was like,
I don't usually tell people.
Hey, I'm from Maine, so I mean East County, San Diego, Maine. So you still got me, Desiree. But now that I'm here in San Diego, I do say anything to me east of the 5. Forget about it.
Yes, and actually, that's what I used to tell people. I live east of the 5, and they would go, "Oh, okay."
Way east. Basically, think Vegas, and that's me.
Yes, awesome. I'm just curious on how often you're promoting the webinars and the avenues that you're promoting them in to drive so much new traffic to a repeating webinar.
It's a phenomenal question, and the best answer by far was the best thing that I did at the beginning of this prior year, 2015. I was saying, what can I do to really drive targeted traffic or to really grow a targeted email list for podcasts and for podcast webinars for future Paradise members? So the best thing that I did by a long shot was create a completely free course that I serve via email. So if anybody goes to freepodcastcourse.com, it's going to take you to a landing page where you can sign up via email for a completely free course on podcasting. And for 15 days, you're going to get 15 emails with a different tutorial every single day on another aspect of creating, growing, and monetizing your podcast. And that email list has grown to over 20,000 people because it's a free course. So whenever anybody wants to know how to podcast, they can just share my free course because it's completely free. Very valuable. It's a 100% course all in one. It's not like a lead into Paradise. It's a complete course. It starts and finishes to create, grow, and monetize your podcast. And so now I can email that list of over 20,000 people and say, hey, I'm doing a live webinar tomorrow. Click here to subscribe to that, to claim your spot for that webinar. And then I can send them another email 15 minutes prior and say, hey, we're chatting right now live. If you want to jump in and chat with JLD, ask him some questions for the next 15 minutes, you can do that. Then we're going to kick off into the webinar. And we have consistently been able to drive like over 100 to sometimes over 200 people. Like the one that we did, it was yesterday. Yep, today's Thursday, yesterday. We did one yesterday. We had 262 people live. 0 paid advertisement, 100% from that email list that I've created through that free course.
And I have to say, when Karen and I started this, I signed up for that because I follow you and I love it. And some stuff I knew because we've been doing this, but there's some really good stuff. I forward it to Karen and say, oh, we have to do this.
And
we have to do this. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm telling everyone right now, it's a great course. If you're thinking about, and we, Karen and I use our blab as a podcast. We put it up on YouTube, and we're also starting to do the iTunes. So we're getting, the full benefit of all of this. So that's why that course is very, very helpful.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great question, Desiree.
Thank you. I just recently started doing blabs regularly, and I do the same thing. I'm downloading all the audio. I'm uploading all the video to YouTube to grow my YouTube channel. And so now I'm kind of like, okay, I think I'm ready for the next step of starting to make some money off of this thing. So
there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Desiree, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Nice to see you.
20 on black. Thank you.
All right, Sandra's here now. Karen, we have a regular guest. We have several regulars, but Sandra's really fun, and she comes on every week, so I'm sure she's gonna pop in here. She just wrote, "Holy cow, John Lee Dumas!" So I'm sure she's coming in.
We got Patty Simone is here too, so Patty, you can jump in. Who else do we have? We have a lot of people here. A lot of people I know anyway, which is good.
Yeah.
All right, here's Sandy. Here's Sandra.
Oh, here's Sandra. You got her. She's so fun.
Hey! I'm starstruck. John Lee Dumas. Oh, I'm having like a hot flash or something. Tell a little bird.
Cute, isn't it?
He's very cute. I'm married and I'm a little old for you, but wow. So
do you have a cougar prop over there?
I don't have any cougar. I'm sorry.
You don't have any cougar props? Okay.
I'm taken by another old guy, and that's all I have to say. And he's quiet. My husband's quiet. Yeah. So
I'm sure he has to be.
He might have to.
I know
be,
they
Sandra,
have to.
right?
My whole family's quiet. They just look at me and say, "Whatever, you're touching lives. We're happy." So wow, I just wanted to come in because I had to live up to my expectations. They said I was fun, so I had to show you. But wow, I'm a follower. I love everything you do. I have a friend of mine that I think is totally crushing on you. She's married too. But she's like, every day, she's like, John Lee Dumas this and John Lee Dumas that. I'm like, who the hell is John Lee Dumas? So she introduced me. I didn't know of you until just recently. I don't know why, but so yeah. And I love the fire thing because everyone keeps telling me in 2016, Sandra, you're on fire. That's all they keep saying. So I'm like, I'm going to have to hang out with John. Maybe he can just go with a match.
Sandra, wait till you tell your friend. She introduced you to you, but you're actually.
I'm gonna have to watch. I should take a screenshot. Yeah, you know what? If I tell a little bird, it will GIF, right?
Yeah.
All right, blow me a kiss, John, in the tweet. Ready? Okay, hold on. Wait till it goes. All right, I think it just went. All right. So she's
tell you're a fellow East Coaster. Where are you from?
I'm from Boston originally, so I have a really bad accent.
Are you a Patriots fan?
My husband is. I don't really watch football, but if you want me to be, I will be a Patriots fan.
I'm born and raised in Maine. I went to college in Rhode Island at Providence College.
Oh,
so I'm
awesome.
a Friar.
Awesome.
So I am a diehard New England sports fan.
Awesome.
So
I'm a Patriots fan. I love Tom Brady.
I will not hold that against you because I'm a New York fan. So I will not hold that against you.
And I won't hold it against you because, this is where we were born and raised. This is a team that we love, that our families love. And Sandra, I'm glad you're going to be rooting for the Patriots this Saturday.
This Saturday. I've got my popcorn all set and everything. I have to say it, and I'm not just sucking up, John, but you're way better looking than Tom Brady. I'm just putting it out there.
Wow. Can we get that message to Giselle?
I'm just putting it out there. I don't know if you're married or taken, but I'm just putting it out there, and that's
ain't no ring on this finger.
There, John?
No? Okay.
Nah. Yeah, but Kate's right around the corner.
A girlfriend or a wife? A girlfriend?
Girlfriend.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. What a riot. So yeah, I specialize in causing positive disruptions, if these ladies haven't told you. So my daughters and I were tired a couple of years ago of just all the negative crap on TV. So we decided to do something, and we said, we're challenged because all my naysayer friends were like, negativity sells, Sandra. So good luck with that. And I love to hear that stuff because I just want to prove them wrong, right? So we started with a kind gesture in a coffee shop, handing people positive messages on slips of paper, and people liked it. So it's kind of like pay it forward with words. And I love this platform, podcasting, any way that I can get my message out there in a big way. And I met Karen, I met Christina just popping in here, and they made connections and connected me to other people. And it's just been wonderful. So big time life changer for me being on live stream.
Well, you have lived up to your name today as a positive disruptor. So thank you for that. And also I will say that, all big things that matter start really small with just the little things, handing a piece of paper to somebody in a coffee shop, talking onto a blab, these things really are what it takes to get traction. And I can really point to a great book that I think you'd enjoy. It's called Smart Cuts. Smart Cuts by Shane Snow, who's actually a past guest of EO Fire. And I recommend listening to that episode as well.
Shane Snow. Perfect.
Great guy. And
Smart Cuts. C-U-T-S. Smart Cuts.
Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds good.
He identifies a company that had a very similar mission to what it sounds like you are, they were just tired of how like the most popular things on BuzzFeed, were just like whatever was negative and whatever was like gossipy and garbage. So they started a company, and you might have heard of it, and it's completely taken off, called Upworthy.
Oh, I've heard of Upworthy. I've actually, I think, experimented for a little bit, and then I just drifted away. So
yeah, but Upworthy is all just about finding positive, meaningful messages in this world and making sure that they get seen, and they've just exploded as a company on that message. So I love it.
So, I think John, you can hook me up with Upworthy. There you go.
Count on it.
Yeah, I'll follow you. I think I'm following you on Twitter, but maybe we can connect and maybe we can have a collaboration or some kind of blab. But no, I love that.
Is that a word? I love that.
I coined that word. I have collaboration.com. I have an obsession with registering domains. I think it's a sickness.
Yeah, I think we all do.
My daughter's like, GoDaddy called today. I'm like, hello, I registered a domain. And every time I get customer service, they're like, one guy, some stranger once, he's like, not for nothing, but that domain's going to be worth something. I'm like, okay, I got to retire at some point. Maybe my domain will do it. I don't know.
There's a domain I'm trying to buy right now that.
Oh my God.
No, I scared him away.
You did. He comes back fast, though. He comes back fast.
He does. A domain. He's keeping us in suspense. A domain that he's. All right. The domain. You said domain, and then you flew away.
There's a domain that I'm trying to buy right now, and I'm willing to pay huge bucks for it. But I can't even. The guy won't even get back to me. So.
I was going to say, if I own it, I'll just hand it to you.
Yeah, you're the best. I can tell you don't.
We can barter for a dinner date or something.
All of the above, by the way.
That's an entrepreneur issue, though. I think I went on my domain thing today to do something with it, and I was like, 3 pages? You have 3 pages of domain names?
Yeah, I do too.
Karen, I have to tell you, someone in a blab last night. Now, if I wish I could remember her name, was singing your praise. I forgot who it was. They were like, if you need anything LinkedIn, go to Karen Yankovich. They were going on and on and on. So I'm like, oh my God, I have to go tell her.
Yeah, next time, please write the name down so I can.
I will. Exactly. I'm old. I don't remember everything I see.
That's why you got to write the name down.
I noticed your name, and I'm like, ooh, good plug for her. So yeah, they were talking about you.
You know what, John? But that's exactly, when you were talking about that regular webinar, that's exactly what I was thinking. If I did a regular webinar on LinkedIn, then, and there's lots of LinkedIn people, and I'm friends with most of them. And, it's not about competition, but if somebody can say, well, Karen has every week she's got a webinar, that would be so huge.
And that other breakthrough, I hope, is, and I think you got that breakthrough, is it doesn't have to be different. It can be the completely same. And you're just transparent about it, saying, hey, I'm going to be here next week teaching the same thing. So you might not need to hear a repeat, but you might know people that do. And it just starts that way.
That's cool.
Right.
And you're right. And once you get a good one, like my webinar, I've done it for years, but the one now is just rock solid. And it's like, that's why I need to do this.
That's awesome.
And you know what, John, what I like about that too is, we all know how that there's, and I'm not saying I'm not going to do this, we can automate webinars, and that's absolutely fine. Tons of people are doing it, and maybe you're doing it, and maybe I'll do it. But doing a weekly one where you're live, I could give an hour a week to this. It's not, especially if it's the same one over and over, I can deliver the same one over and over, and then it's live, and that makes you stand out.
This is the phrase that I think everybody needs to understand. Sales happen on live webinars. That's it. That one sentence people can remember. Everybody, of course, wants to do recorded webinars because it's easier. You can leverage, you can scale, blah, blah, blah. Sales happen on live webinars. So if you're trying to sell something or promote or pitch a community, a product, or service, sales happen on live webinars. And I'm telling you, you've got to get on. There's going to be that beautiful 15-minute area where you're like, Christina, where are you coming from? Karen, and you're connected with them in a really powerful way. That's got to happen. Getting some background right now, some echo. I don't know if somebody's back on.
There we go.
So it's got to be in that, the interaction where you're connecting with that person, you're calling their name out, you're giving them a shout out like we do with Desiree, like we do with Sandra. That connection is going to happen. And then you've got to do a live webinar. And I love jumping back in during the webinar. And again, I focus, but I do jump back into the chat and be like, oh, Christina, Karen, you guys are rocking the chat. Thank you. Let them know that I'm going to come back in and engage with them. Let them know that their questions will be answered. And then answer the questions at the end. Remove those barriers that you can't remove on a recorded webinar because you don't know what they are. It happens live. People feel like it is an actual event. They can't press pause. They're going to miss it. It has to happen now. So it has to be live. To maximize.
That's awesome. I love it. I really, really love it. I'm no, listen, we talked about this earlier. I'm no stranger to hard work. I have no problem dedicating 2 hours a week. So an hour for the webinar, half before, half after, I have no problem. That's an easy thing for me to do.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it can 15 minutes prior, do a 30 minutes of value, 10 minutes of Q&A, and you're almost at an hour. I mean, that's an hour.
Right.
It doesn't,
So I have a question. I have a question, ladies, because I came in on probably half of the show. So the first question for you, John, is what webinar service do you recommend? I was looking at Zoom and all these other things. And then how do you get people to come besides your list? How do you make it exciting so they'll all come flocking saying this is the best webinar and tell people about it? Any tips on that? Or did I miss that?
You did miss some of that. Yeah. You did miss some of that. We did talk a little bit.
Webinar Ninja is the company that I recommend. They're doing amazing things. Actually, I know the founder of Webinar Ninja, a fellow podcaster, actually, Omar Zenhom of the $100 MBA. And Webinar Ninja is just leaps and bounds ahead of the competition in a lot of different ways. They're doing some really cool things. Definitely recommend checking them out. And as far as getting people there, it does. We did get deep into this, so I won't get deep into it, Sandra, right now. But I'm sure Karen will fill you in afterwards. But essentially, it really is going to come back to your email list as much as I know that we wish there was other easy ways to do it. But I love the idea of creating Facebook groups that are just open and free for LinkedIn groups are another great thing. So you have that community you can go to and ping. The big thing that I brought up, which has been the game changer for me, is creating a completely free course in your topic of authority that's delivered via email. So you're building a specific email list up. So I have, for my course, freepodcastcourse.com, I have over 20,000 people signed up to that.
Wow.
So I can just ping that list when I'm doing these live webinars. And sometimes it's right for certain people to come join at that point.
Okay, cool.
So a free course is key.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Look, Karen and I both, our brains are just
John, I did a free course in July, and my goal was to have 2,000 people in it, and then I would turn it into a paid course. I had 2,000 people in a month.
Wow.
So I know. And now I'm kicking myself a little bit for making it a paid course because it might have been more valuable to me just keeping it free.
And then having it funnel into something premium.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
And I can see for you, Sandra, I mean, why not have collaboration create a free course about how to crush blab.
I did. I have a course. I was charging for it like $59. It's pretty much free.
Yeah, but that's not.
My friends like,
difference.
Guess what I have, John, though? I created this thing called blabshopping.com. And I'm doing it with my mother, who's 82, and she's freaking live streaming. She's on Facebook. She is funny as hell. We're having people pop in and sell their products or services. And Christina, I was going to ask you if you wanted to pop in and sell your book tonight, or anyone that has anything to sell. If you go to blabshopping.com and you follow the instructions and just click on the link, you can come in. So we have people selling makeup stuff, artisan stuff. Jen, my friend Jen Lehner is going to come in and sell her Bird Nerd course.
What time is it, Sandra?
7 p.m. Eastern, and it's blabshopping.com.
Yeah.
No.
Next week.
You didn't.
Yeah, maybe next week.
Not that I dislike hanging out with ladies, but I am glad to see that Real Men, Real Style, Antonio Centeno is in the house, a fellow military officer. He was
welcome.
In the Army, so he's got some great stuff going on. And we actually do a great, we have a co-venture together. It's called highspeedlowdrag.org. So Antonio, go ahead and drop that link in there. So anybody that knows any military veterans that are looking to transition out of the military world into either corporate or entrepreneurship, we have some incredible free training for them to do that. Because, we were veterans. We both served our country. And we're looking to really help other veterans make that transition successfully, because it's a tough transition.
That's awesome.
Wow, cool.
I have to tell you, yesterday I did the CEO training, and it's getting them to get creative and think about it. So the one guy said, I said, what does your company do? And he goes, we solve really big, hard problems. And I said, okay, like what? And he said, well, the government lost 1.8 million women veterans, and I found them all in 4 months. And he said, and we've been on the phone with 640,000 of them. I'm like, that's kind of a newsworthy story.
That should be on Upward.
Let me help you. Yeah, I mean, are you kidding me? That's unbelievable. But so they don't think that way. But yeah, so that's awesome what you're doing.
So my time is unfortunately running short here, ladies.
No, I know we're going to wrap
back to back here today, but
and we're
going to wrap up.
Sandra, thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much, John. Great to meet you. I'll definitely tweet at you.
Girl, go Patriots.
When I'm on fire, you're on fire, or opposite of that.
I still own a place in Southie.
You do?
It's on East Broadway. It's right at East Broadway and I Street. I love it.
Wait a minute, you own a place like a
It's a condo.
Oh, I thought you meant like a bar or something. I was going to say, okay.
Yeah, I own the playwrights.
A place.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's cool. I love Southie. Southie's cool.
That's
awesome.
Great
to meet you, John, Karen, and Christina. Always a pleasure. Peace, guys.
See you next week.
Bye. All right, John, thank you so much for being here with us today. We're going to let you run. We'll wrap this up. What would you like to share with our audience before you?
Well, final call to action, my friends. The Freedom Journal. This is set and accomplish your number one goal in 100 days. You have that big domino you have to knock over. This is your guide for it. Thefreedomjournal.com is the URL. It'll take you right to the Kickstarter campaign. I'd love if you supported it in any way, shape, and form. And actually have a cool link for people to make it really easy. I don't want to type it in right now because I know it'll mess up. But it's just I'll drop it right before I leave. But it's a nice little link that people can share the love as well. But yeah, thefreedomjournal.com. Awesome. And thanks for having me on, ladies.
It was so great to get to know you.
Thanks. Great to see you again.
Thanks for being here, John.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. All right. How awesome was that?
Good stuff. I had like a month. Right, I don't even want to take notes too much because I like to talk. I'm going to have to watch this again and write down all of the ideas that I've got from this. That was awesome.
So next week
we have Lisa Lieberman. Lisa Lieberman wrote Find a Fab. She helps you kind of go through breakthroughs with your business and your life. She's amazing. She has some great things to tell, and she's full of energy. So do not miss Lisa Lieberman next week, 2:30. You can get it on my profile. You can go on over there now and subscribe. And by the way, we finally have our January workshop up. So for the Get Seen, Be Heard, Lunch and Learn series, you can still get the Twitter workshop and the Hero workshop. If you go to getseenbeheardtv.com/workshops, you can find them. Don't judge because the website's not pretty yet, but
the website, but it's there.
You can get not only can you get the LinkedIn one. So this we're going to talk about LinkedIn and how important LinkedIn is to your personal brand, to your whole purpose to getting seen and being heard, right? You want to make sure that if people check you out after they see you and hear you, that you check out of that you look like a rock star. So come join us for that. That's next Friday. And actually I can put a link in here just directly to that one. But Christina,
Karen, is it next Friday or
a week from tomorrow?
Oh, it is. Okay.
Believe it or not, it's a week from tomorrow.
It's all good. They're all
good.
So
come join us for that. We've gotten such huge feedback, and we're making them, they're not free, as John talked about, but they're $48. So they're very reasonable. And as Christina said earlier, we are looking to deep dive on one topic that we talk about here. Instead of, giving you this big overall. So we're going to talk all about your LinkedIn profile. So you're going to get deep, like I'm going to go in, I'm going to tell you all my secrets on how to create a LinkedIn profile that's ass kicking. So you definitely don't want to miss this one. You can go to getseenbeheardtv.com/workshops, or go to the link that I just put in the chat, which is bit.ly/GSBHJAN16, all caps. And we'd love to see you there. And we'll be back here next week too.
Yeah. Thursday, 2:30 Eastern time.
And Christina, is the live stream for Virginia Tech on their website?
It is. You can go, I think it's just Google Virginia Tech's website, and it's right on the front page. You'll see Hoda Kotb, and you can click right on there. And
watch Christina interviewing Hoda Kotb tomorrow on the Virginia Tech website. It's being live streamed. You'll see me there in the front row taking pictures and periscoping and tweeting and Facebooking. But it's a big deal, so check it out. Yes, thanks, Patty, and awesome. We'll see you guys next week. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Christina, the recording.
Thanks for joining us today on our Blab series, Get Seen, Be Heard. If you've missed any episodes, you can always find us at www.getseenbeheardtv.com/YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll always be notified when we upload a new episode. We work together with clients, helping them combine social media and PR to get more customers and grow their business. If that sounds like something you'd like to learn more about, visit us at www.soartoprofit.com. We have regular workshops where we combine our expertise and show you how to use social media and publicity to get seen and be heard. See you next week.